Here are 10 rock bands who have never played Saturday Night Live, but definitely should. The legendary comedy show is celebrating its 50th anniversary, and alongside the sketches, there have been many iconic musical performances from Queen, David Bowie, The Clash and the Ramones, to Metallica, AC/DC, Foo Fighters, Fall Out Boy, My Chemical Romance, Linkin Park, 21 Pilots. The list goes on and on and on. But there are some huge rock bands who somehow never ended up playing in Studio 8H. So we thought we'd round up a few of the legends and some of those newer artists that we would love to see perform on the show in the future. Number 1, Slipknot. One of the biggest metal bands in the world with #1 albums, arena tours, and even their own festival, Slipknot somehow have never made it onto SNL, although they are no stranger to late night with memorable appearances on Jimmy Kimmel, Jay Leno, and Conan O'Brien's shows. Back in 2013, a petition was even set up on social media entitled Slipknot for Saturday Night Live, which attracted thousands of signatures and the attention of Corey Taylor himself, who said at the time that playing the show was the one thing they always wanted to do as the band grew up watching it. With a new album said to be coming soon and the band celebrating more than 2 decades together, now would be the perfect time for Slipknot to bring their brand of metal onto the SNL stage. Number 2, the Sex Pistols. When Saturday Night Live kicked off in 1975, they were quick to have some of the biggest and most talked about artists of the time perform, with the Pistols actually booked to appear just 2 years later in 1977. But sadly, ahead of their first ever US tour, the band were denied their visas and couldn't enter the country, meaning that Elvis Costello had to fill in on their SNL slot at the very last minute. But now, of course, the Pistols are well and truly back, with Frank Carter providing frontman and vocal duties. They were selling out tour dates all through the back half of last year and have loads of major festivals lined up all summer long. As SNL looks back on its full 50-year history, wouldn't it be great to finally get the band that slipped away onto the show at last? Number 3, The Offspring. Saturday Night Live has had its fair share of pop-punk appearances over the years, from Green Day to Blink-182, Good Charlotte and Sum 41, but The Offspring somehow never appeared on SNL. In a 2024 interview, Noodles from the band revealed that this was actually because they had turned down the opportunity when it was offered to them after the huge success of their 1994 Smash album. They just felt that they weren't quite ready for it at that time. Well, with several more decades of experience under their belts and many major TV appearances, it is safe to say that the band would now be more than ready should the call come through once again from the guys at NBC. Number 4, Black Sabbath. While Ozzy Osbourne has been impersonated countless times on the show by a number of different performers, neither he nor Black Sabbath have ever made an appearance as the musical guest, although the show did run a TV Funhouse cartoon skit about the band in the early 2000s. Ozzy and Sabbath will perform for one final time this summer in their native Birmingham at Villa Park Stadium, joined by a whole host of legends throughout the day. But with tickets selling out almost instantly, wouldn't it be great to see the guys make one final TV appearance together as well for all those fans who couldn't make their way into the stadium? Number 5, 5 Seconds of Summer. Another surprising omission here, given how absolutely huge Five Sauce became around the release of their self-titled debut album in 2014. In fact, each of their first 3 records all hit #1 on the US Billboard chart, and 2018 single Youngblood became their highest charting US single yet, reaching number 7 on the Hot 100. The band are of course still very active and are currently working on their new album in the studio, so SNL would be the perfect place for them to debut some of those new songs. Fingers crossed it finally happens. So there's some major artists that have slipped through the cracks of SNL over the years, but what about the newer rock bands that we think would be a great fit for the show? Sleep Token have been selling out massive US rooms like Radio City Music Hall on their last tour, and with a new era coming soon, their next album would be the perfect time for Vessel & Co. to finally make their late-night TV debut. Similarly, Bad Omens are hard at work on new music, and with Just Pretend and The Death of Peace of Mind dominating rock radio in recent years, plus Noah Sebastian's fondness for cinematic visuals in their shows, their performance style would be a great match for the SNL stage. Bring Me the Horizon are another band known for their visual spectacle, and their US audience is only growing, with even classic tracks like Can You Feel My Heart finding whole new audiences via TikTok, and Parasite Eve, Kingslayer and Teardrops all being certified gold just last year. Could they be in contention for a Saturday Night Live slot? Ghost, of course, recorded their live concert film Right Here, Right Now at the over 17,000 capacity Kia Forum venue in Los Angeles, and their last album, Impera, hit number 2 on the US chart. They have previously performed on Stephen Colbert's late night show, so surely their next era would be the perfect time to introduce Papa to SNL's TV audience. And then there is Knocked Loose, one of the most buzzed about bands in hardcore. They were Grammy nominated this year for Suffocate, their collab with Poppy, and have appeared at major festivals like Coachella. Plus, they gave perhaps the heaviest ever late night performance on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Booking them on SNL would be a major statement from the show and would undoubtedly make for very exciting TV. So there you have it, 10 rock bands that we think would be a great fit on the Saturday Night Live stage, but we want to know your thoughts. Who else would you like to see play on SNL in the near future? Let us know down in the comments below. In the meantime, I've been James Wilson Taylor, and this has been your Rock Sound News Update.